Hello everyone, good evening. A warm welcome to join the C-Suite Talks. Today we are joined by Mr. Manjunath Basrur, the founder, managing director and CEO of Blugate Software Technologies Private Limited, and we have Mr. Prem Kumar, the CIO of eAge Technologies India Private Limited. Our guests have a wealth of experience in the technology sector. We are excited to learn from their insights and strategies for success in this ever evolving industry. So, Manja sir, the first question is to you. Could you share a bit about your career journey led you to your current role?
Sure, Vijay. Good evening, everyone. And Vijay, thank you for inviting me on to this prestigious podcast. I really appreciate that. Um, I started my career about 23 years ago. I'm an alumni of MIT Manipal. Um, and Being an engineer by qualification, obviously my first job would be towards, looking for a job in the, software development kind of an area. And Over the years, I worked with multiple organizations, playing multiple roles. I have had the opportunity and the good luck of working with some of the very good managers, very good organizations and clients. I was exposed to the client kind of an environment at a very initial stage of my career, which kind of built a bit of a character in the way I kind of work and things like that. Um, in 2010, I kind of left my full-time job and started, exploring as a corporate trainer. I've worked with a couple of organizations, and CA was one of them. And that kind of gave me a very broad perspective on how different organizations across the globe work. The corporate training was specific to APM, application performance management, and there was a tool that CA had developed, and learning that and sharing the knowledge from a technical standpoint with the users of the product across the globe. That kind of was a very enriching experience. I did that for about 6 years, and parallelly in 2010 itself, an opportunity presented itself to build a particular solution for a friend of mine in the UK, and that kind of was the first project we had for Blugate as such. And over the years, we worked with different organizations, different geographies, building software solutions. So what led me to this role? I think it is, at the back of my mind, I always had this. I had seen so much of development work happening. I wanted to do something differently and provide a lot of value to the end users, not just the organization to which I would be providing the software. So that is what led me to the current role that I'm playing. It has been about 13 years. Me being the first generation entrepreneur in my pretty conservative family. I come from a pretty conservative family, from a employed slash versus business kind of a mindset. That has been a very conservative thing in my family. So being a first time entrepreneur, it was very difficult. Yeah. And it's kind of a roller coaster ride, and entrepreneurs out there would agree perhaps with my viewpoint as well. But it's the, see, for the lack of a better word, the kick that I get at the end of the day in terms of what we do and what we kind of provide to our customers and clients. That is what kind of keeps me going. So I guess that answers your question, Vijay. I hope I've covered what you wanted me to ask.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It's an inspiring journey because first generation entrepreneurship, it is encouraging us to start the entrepreneurship journey. And definitely your APM, that is a one tool you developed and launched, that is more beneficial, right?
Yeah,
That is an inspiring. Thank you, Manjunath sir.
yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Um, Prem sir, same question I have to you. Could you share a bit about your career journey that led you
Yeah,
to your
hi.
current role?
Yeah, hi Vijay. Hi Manjunath. Great, sir. Manjunath, it was a good journey, I believe. Vijay, thank you for making me part of this podcast. To start with, my journey started as a system admin way back in 1997. Okay, and it's been 25 years in the industry now. This is my seventh organization that I am working in the last 25 years, which major part of my career was in infrastructure only, still on the infrastructure and cloud services with security services is what I have been doing. Handled couple of roles in various organizations, Wipro being the largest stint of 13 years. I've been in Wipro as a project manager and came out as a delivery head from Wipro. Worked in various domains like banking, finance, aviation, telecom. These are the footage that I've been working and handled projects across the globe, India, Middle East, Africa, and Europe regions is what I have. Born and brought up in Kolar Goldfields, two daughters, wife, mom are the family members that I have. Good number of friends and team members that I've been inspired and have been helping me to deliver these projects. It's all the team that has helped me to grow, learn so far. Thanks for them. And that's about me, Vijay.
Thank you, Prem. Definitely, it is an inspiring because a start from system admin to CIO, it is definitely an inspiring for us. We'll discuss about the theme about navigating the tech landscape, strategies for success in rapidly changing industry. To Manjunath sir, what leadership principles have guided your decision making in the tech industry?
Sure. Very difficult question, but definitely I can share some of my thoughts. Um, the first is, whatever we do, whatever we build, it's for our customers. So um, understanding what the customer wants, the pain points, identifying them, imagining them, and trying to be a solution provider for their problems is what decide on multiple aspects of your business and what you deliver. So I would say customer centric or customer focus is one of the main reasons or one of the principles. The second I would say is, and I'm a big advocate of collaboration and communication. Communicating would mean not just with the clients, it's internal communication to the stakeholders, whoever is involved. So that kind of is also one of the principles, the pillars of how I have been working with the clients and what we do. Being a small medium sized organization, it is also very important for us to be agile in terms of what we deliver. Um, we can't spread ourselves way too thin from a tech stack point of view, but we should be doing something right, or whatever we do, we should be doing it right. But we got to be adaptable as well. So adaptability and agility is one of the other principles that I have been trying to follow. And of course, last but not the least, the quality. I mean, everybody has to provide quality. There's no doubt about that. But that's not easy. Quality and excellence to reach a point where the customer can just think of, okay, when it comes to a problem and a solution to that, if they have to think of a particular solution provider, it would mean a lot more than just a relationship. Quality and excellence would also matter a lot. So I think these are some of the four or five perhaps principles that have been guiding me in certain decisions that I take within Blugate as such. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, definitely. It's a customer centric focus, collaboration, adaptability, quality. Uh, Rightly said. Yes, this is definitely impacting the decision making. Yes, as you said. Thank you, Mr. Prem. I have a question to you. What emerging technology trends do you see as the most influential in the tech industry right now?
Yes, Vijay. So, looking at the technologies that are driving the forces, now everybody is talking about automation is predominantly what we are looking at. Uh, Automation plays a major role in what we have been doing. We are looking at automating threat analysis. We are looking at automating learning what we are having with Chat GPT and other stuff. We are getting a lot of information, and this one where we can look at how to automate many of the incident management. If you look at uh, predominantly automation plays one role, which we can look at various other industries as well. Then we have artificial intelligence, which is playing major of the roles in taking up the initial screening of people, interview process, and rest of the things, right? So that's where we find a lot of things now coming into new technologies coming in. Quantum computing is one thing that we are looking at. IoT has been there in the industry, but there are a lot of things that is still related to security that has to be addressed from an IoT standpoint. Sustainability is there. Then you have green technology, which is playing a lot of role. 5G is playing a bigger role in terms of technology, which is moving most influential in the industry at the moment, Vijay. So you can name it to say artificial intelligence and machine learning, 5G technology, blockchain, cyber security are predominantly what things are happening. With added to that is IoT. That's where most of the industries are getting driven in the tech industry.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We are also seeing this trend. We have Aniruddha here. I think he raised the hand. Aniruddha, do you have any questions to the speakers?
Hello, Vijay. Thanks for organizing this podcast, and good evening to all. Good evening, Manjunath sir and Prem sir. My question to both is with in your respective organizations, like how would you describe your leadership style and uh, and encourage people in terms of adopting the new technologies, especially that we just mentioned about machine learning and AI, and how it can impact your organization, and what sort of vision do you see for your organization?
Looking at the landscape of the leadership, we are not a big organization, as we are about 120 people, and we are into embedded space. Okay, we do embedded technology, software development, and into managed services, and we do security and compliance requirements, right? So that's the space we are, and we are a COE based staffing and training as well, which are specific to the semiconductor industry that we are working with, right? So looking at the leadership, we are a flat leadership style where we have anybody can pull in their sleeve, and we are approachable across. And me being in the organization, it's been that I've always been a team member rather than manager coming to my team over all the years of experience that I had. I go with the team, see, be part of the project, look at the issues and talk to the customers, navigate team members wherever they wanted some kind of help, whether it can be helping getting the right tools or right training, getting say OEM trainings that are required for certain projects to be delivered. That's how we've been handling things, Anirudh. So hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
So let me, try and answer that question as well,
Yes, please.
Aniruddha. Yeah, we are a tiny company, tiny organization, and everybody within the organization is a technology person, me included. So very similar to what Prem sir said. We I specifically encourage the team members to kind of get into pretty much everything. You it's not specific, the task given or a particular area that they have to work in. They should be looking into pretty much everything that is happening within the project, within the organization, and I encourage them to do that. Communication is a very important aspect, and I encourage that as well. This one concept, and this has stayed with me for a very long time. In fact, I think it started with my first job, 23 years back. This thing that I call it, one for all and all for one. That concept, meaning within a team, you got to have that kind of an attitude where you know you, know, you have others back, right? So you got to carry the burden, or you got to share the responsibility, accountability, whatever it is. Make sure at the end of the day the work is done, and I encourage that. So that is the pat on the back for the deserved, and of course there is you know one-on-ones to make sure that people are following, people are motivated enough to kind of give their 100%, or at least try to give their 100% on a daily basis. So I wouldn't call it a real leadership style as well, but this has worked for me over the years. I hope that answers your question.
Uh, yes, thank you so much, Manjunath sir and Prem sir, for sharing your insights. I'm sure this will definitely help us.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Aniruddha, for a very good question. Thank you. This is to you, Manjunath sir. Uh, we all work on right now digital transformation initiatives, right? So, what advice would you give to other organization, being a CEO, the organization looking to embark on their journey on digital transformations, right? What advice would you give?
Yeah, sure. I would assume that you're referring to people or businesses that are not digital enough, and they want to kind of ramp up their digital footprint, or transform into or have initiatives. So from that point of view, I've seen a lot of organizations that call themselves digital or digital enough, but when you look deeper, there is a whole lot of scope for improving their own workflows, processes, and things like that. So if anybody, if an organization would like to kind of embark onto a journey, um, that their first thing they need to look at is their own business goals, and how a digital transformation can help them in that. This is kind of cliche, I understand that, but it's very important um, to know your business goals, to define them, and then see how digital transformation fits into that strategy. Secondly, digital transformation is not an overnight thing. It's a process. It's a Depending on the size of the organization, it's a long drawn process, and it's not something that can be done by a single team or a single person. You got to involve your team. You got to involve the right stakeholders. You got to partner with the right set of experts to kind of see you through that that journey. So involving the stakeholders, the team members, the employees of the organization is also very important. One other point I can think of is even without even without digital transformation, you probably have a whole lot of data from years of your own, working or running your business. So from that point of view, you probably want to look at digital transformation that involves data analytics. This is a sure shot way of looking at data from the past to look at where the problems are, where the issues are, and see what best can be done from a from a point of view of either automation or bringing in a right tool to kind of help the team to improve the performance or improve the process itself, and things like that. So prioritize your security, prioritize your compliance depending on which industry you belong to, and of course analyze the data if you have, or start capturing the data as part of your the digital transformation itself. Those are some of the things that I would like to kind of emphasize on for businesses, small, medium, who probably want to get onto or embark onto a journey of digital transformation. Over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Manjunath sir. Digital transformation journey is all the organizations moving towards that. And with that, this question is to Prem sir. Again, digital transformation journey only. How has your organization approached its own digital transformation journey?
So looking at digital transformation, right? So as Manjunath rightly said, it's an ongoing process. Now, there is a lot of data that is there inside the organization before we get in. It is more to be an unstructured data that is there. Okay, and now looking at that data which is there, and we'll have to analyze and where what is the landscape that we want to take our journey to. Now looking at what data we have, we'll have to put strategies accordingly. What is that we want to look at? Look at agile methodology, not rushing everything to digital transformation. Look at what you want to adapt, what is that you can digitize, what is that can be brought in a phased manner. Buy-in is one thing that we need to take from the leadership, which is more to look at what is the expectation the leadership is looking with this transformation, and what's the value that it is bringing to the organization by digitizing this. So you will have to put your strategies, your scope, your objectives that is to be, and what are the expected outcomes that you are looking with this transformation. Now, looking at the data privacy part that is there, now every data has to be looked at a very critical phase, where we see the government putting this DPDP Act coming up in this one. It's still a framework. Government is looking at to see how data can be processed, collected, processed, who can process, and what time of retention this data has to be kept, and who can, when can it be destroyed. So you will have to put a layout of digital assets now coming into the new act, which you will fall under maybe by another 3 4 months. The board will be formed and stuff will come up. So you will have to look at every aspect that is there when you take the digital journey. For new companies or the existing companies, the data that is existing has to be somewhere structured. We need to look at cross-functional things, how the stack has to be evaluated. So you will have to look at various aspects. As Manjunath rightly said, it's a process. You'll have to take feedback, you'll have to look at compliance, you'll have to look at security, what can be given access, who has to get the access. All this has to be first formalized, put a strategy to it, and then take it in a phased manner is what I feel. And that's what we've been also doing in our company, saying that whatever data we are having, what kind of data is there, what is useful for us, what can be made more better for giving it to customers, handling things in a better way. That's what majorly concerns of the digital transformation part. Vijay?
Thank you, Prem sir. Yeah, it's a process. That's what I understood, and it is clear information, a message to the audience. And We have Rama Sanghi here. Rama, do you have any questions to the speakers?
Thank you, Vijay. Good evening, Prem and Manjunath. I was wondering what are the delivery challenges that you're facing on the ground, right? Because I have been dealing with startups, and one of the key things that we find is the exceptional use cases that we get, and with a limited number of people that we have on hand. Do you face these kind of challenges, and how are you resolving them at a higher level and bringing them back from outliers into inliers with the overall scene?
Ramasi, the challenge, as you already have pointed out, one is the critical skill part that is there. Before we talk about skill perspective, we'll have to look at what is that stack that we are looking at and what is the inner strength that we have with the teams for us to go on the digital journey, right? So first is in-house, what can, at what level? See, I would like to address any problem in a phased manner, right? Now you have certain people who can help you with 30% of the work done internally. Example, right? So I have people strength of 30% job can be done internally. I need 4 or 5 consultants or whatever number of consultants that who can help me on the expertise level and give us some guidance. Then the rest of the other part can be taken. So you have to chunk it down to pieces and split it so that it makes it easy for you to see how you address it internally first, then look out for people on a contractual basis. And you don't need to have them on a long term role if that piece has to be done one time and then it goes to sustenance, right? Or operations. Operations, you can put the SOPs and take it over, but major challenge you only have highlighted is the skill set matching for the kind of business that we want to look at. With the rapid changing technology landscape which is happening over every year, you find something in all. Now, example I'll give you, and Gartner and other team members were giving the predictions of technology of the year for 2023 and 24. They did not have anything which is called a generative AI. So that was a new thing which started in Jan somewhere, okay, and everybody is hopping on it. So it depends, and the landscape keeps changing every time. So you can see a lot of changes, lot of disruptive technologies coming in, lot of vendors coming in. You have interviews being shortlisted on virtual channels now using AI and bot kind of a thing. So it depends again where you want to look at, how you want to look at. Basically, first the vision and the mission has to be very clear how we want to look at what is the outcome that we are looking and what is that we have in hand and what we need from outside. That's what I would say, Ram. Hope I understood you.
Yes, I would like to get Manjunath's view on this as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. My turn now. Yeah. So if I understand, sorry, I was on mute and talking. So if I understand the question correctly, Rama, your your question is really the challenges we face with getting startups or smaller organization on the digital transformation journey. Is that a correct understanding?
Yeah, see, when we get smaller organizations, or say, for example, I'm dealing with banks now.
Hmm.
So, when I get them to a digital transformation journey, we hit some roadblocks, right? For
Yes.
example, there's a limited budget. And, on our side as startups, I feel we have lesser, the width of the spectrum of skill sets that we have
Correct.
within the organization, that is limited.
Yeah.
And what I see is that whatever use cases go out of our spectrum, right? So to bring them back into the mainstream, it becomes such a challenge. I have been facing this,
Yes.
and I would like
Yes.
to know, like Prem was telling. So one of the things is he's like break down everything to the last bit and try to address individually. So like that, what are the things that you can point us to,
Yeah.
that we can pick up from, which will help
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Yeah. So to that extent, yeah, I totally agree with Prem sir when he said you got to break it down and take an agile route to this. But the complexity arises when you need to educate the customer on agile itself. educate the customer on why we should take smaller chunks, break it down, get down to the last as much as possible, get down to the last detail, and then kind of so that's one aspect of the challenge. And even if we kind of overcome that and get them on board, then you're right about that aspect of the spectrum would be so wide. Internally we may not have that kind of resources to kind of deliver it. So that is where I have found in my experience a lot of value in collaboration. So yes, we are all organizations competing obviously for profits and things like that. But when it comes to the delivering something to a client, no matter how small or how large the organization is, collaborating has helped me. Of course, getting people on board, as a part-time or contract basis, that has helped as well. But yes, it's been a challenge. It's easier said than done, but yes, collaborating with the other organizations has definitely helped me in this particular situation. I hope that answers your question, Rama.
Thank you, Manjunath. Thank you, Prem. I actually, from Prem, I got a different perspective because you're from a different industry. I believe, right? You're from embedded systems. That's what I understood.
Yeah, I'm from embedded, Rama. So I see, looking at any customer, you want to look is they want it yesterday, so not tomorrow, right? So, so, so the requirements change, the processes change. As Manjunath rightly said, it
Also, I don't know
depends.
if you have hit this, but I have hit this that anytime that we tell that we are a younger organization and we are only so many years old or whatever, and then if we tell them, then the natural expectation for them is at whatever speed a seasoned organization is delivering, you should be delivering at half the speed. So that's like, I don't know if you people have hit it, but I have hit it always.
Agreed. So see, everybody wants fast delivery. Everybody wants projects closed yesterday. So everybody wants technology to be learned yesterday. So it happens. It is the common way of requirement that customers want or want their products to be delivered. But you will have to draft it out very clearly. See, again, it is the way you handle things. I will not say every project is going to be the same way we handle. We have one project manager, we have one project line given there, and that project is going as per the project line, right? It does not go that way. So it has deviations, it has dependencies, and you will face challenges. It can be resources, it can be people resources, it can be tool resources, it can be licensing issue. There are a lot of other parameters that come in, and you will have last minute surprises as well, right? So people leaving also the organization in the mid of the project also is one challenge that we have to look at, right? And this challenge are part of any project, any organization requirements that are there. That's what I feel, Rama.
Yeah, and I've also found that no matter from a people standpoint, it's just whatever. I didn't really get into that people issues because of a very vast category of questions that come up. But overall, what I found is that no matter how experienced your consultants are, excuse me, so what, there's a first time for everyone actually, and despite their vast experiences, we tend to negotiate, renegotiate efforts, timelines, etc. I don't know if that is the same with everybody, or is it only me that is hitting all this.
I think we are all in the same boat, Rama. I mean, there's no difference in those challenges that you just mentioned. Whether it is full-time employees or consultants or clients. So I think pretty much everybody, yeah, everything is going to be the same.
So
Yeah.
it is constant negotiation for everyone. I was just wondering, this is how we handle, right? So we just constantly negotiate and keep renegotiating terms as we go ahead with the project for timelines and efforts and stuff. So I believe that I'm taking back that is the way that everybody is functioning. Only everybody is agreeable to the overall thing. Okay, thank you, Prem and Manjunath. Thank you so much, Vijay. I'm taking a lot of things back from this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rama, for a wonderful question, and we have got great insights from the speakers. We have Chetan Kumar here. Chetan, please go ahead with your question.
Thanks, Vijay. Chetan here. This is a nice experience to be a part of this podcast or talk show, right? And it was really good to listen to the speakers in the last 30 minutes. My question is to any of the CXOs here. In your experience, have you had a chance? So, in your experience, have you had a chance where someone working closely with you, right, drove home the point as to why agile delivery and related transformation is the way to go? For you, the market, the business, and the revenues are above everything else, and that's fair. What would you or your orgs, what would get you or your orgs to be invested in agile delivery from the top leadership all the way to the teams on the ground, right? Without which agile delivery, or for that matter, any transformation, be it digital or anything else, would never really see the light of the day.
I'll take that question first, Prem, this time.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Chetan, hi. Thanks for joining. And so the person who drew that point in the organization was me. So that kind of was easy for me to bring that concept and make sure that it is followed within the organization. But the challenge for me was to convince the customer. And the way I kind of overcame that is by showing them the timelines, by showing them how it is done, and giving them use cases on how we have dealt with similar problems in an agile way in other projects and other customers. And that is the way I was able to kind of convince even people sitting on the fence were convinced after a period of time. But yeah, you still have fence sitters when it comes to agile from a client perspective. Now I wouldn't paint everybody with the same brush, but there have been clients that I worked with who were pretty aggressive in terms of getting involved and like the agile, and they were the ones who would uh, bring in a lot more value to the agile delivery than I would have otherwise. Um, so that is what has worked within my organization. Before I started Blugate, I've seen in other organizations where I worked, which we did not follow. I'm talking about 20 7 to 2007, 8, and 9. We didn't really follow typical agile. Standard waterfall method is what we had followed, and we did see successes, but there were enough heartburns along the way. So from that experience, when I kind of understood the agile method of delivery and the advantages, it was easier for me to convince not just the team that worked with me, but also the customers who were not very clear about the concept and not very agreeing to get it on board. But then yes, we had to kind of tweak in certain places. So I wouldn't say I would have followed 100% of agile framework, but something close. But that helped. I hope that answers your question, Chetan.
Yeah, thanks, Manjunath, for elaborating that one. So, can I take another 2 minutes quickly to add a few things and share a bit of my experience also in that context, Vijay?
Yes, please, Chetan.
Yeah, right. So, I think some brilliant insights from Manjunath. In terms of having the fence sitters, and especially higher in ranks in the organization, or from the customer, it becomes even more difficult, right, for any kind of transformation to happen. Now, specifically, since my question was from an agile delivery perspective, over the years, what I have learned from my experience is, right. Um, if generally, right, be it from our own organization, be it the CXOs or the senior leadership, or even customers for that matter. And again, to repeat, because their focus is on the market, the business, and the revenues, right? If their primary intent or motive to go for a transformation, agile delivery in this context is to from a lesser cost, smaller teams, and to be done in lesser time perspective, right? I have reasoned it out, to be a no, right, over a period of time, and what I have seen is we stand better chance at success rates if the point of contention, or if the point of convincing, I mean, is based somewhere around delivering value to customers, right? Delivering value to customers and building products or solutions that customers would want to use and provide feedback, right? If that can be the primary motive or intent of switching to an agile delivery or going for that transformation, I have seen that that is where the buy rate is better. Right? So that's what I wanted to share. Yeah.
Thanks, Chetan. That is really informative. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Chetan.
Vijay. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. We have Sajid Kumar. Sajid, please proceed with your question.
My question is related to a statement that was made earlier that is specific to AI. So I know that AI from last August or September has been on rocket fuel, and with some clever marketing, it has created a lot of impact. But is it the fear of missing out that companies, small and big, are jumping into that clever marketing tech, and is it just a buzzword? The reason being that IBM, it's not something new, right? NLP is not new. IBM has been developing it for quite some time. They have already, I think 2 years back, they had a AI debater which bet the Harish Narajan, who was the world's the record holder for being the best debater or winning the maximum number of debates in the world. So it's not new. People have been doing a lot of research in the background, big companies which had a lot of money to spend on it. But since last year, right, you see a lot of small companies, a lot of big companies, and also companies are invested in it. Is that because of they don't want to miss out, or is just a buzzword? You think that down the line it might fade because the expectations are so high that the companies might not match in terms of ROI from that perspective.
Yeah, Sajid, yeah, to add to what you said, IBM or any other organization has been testing AI for quite some time. If you really look at AI, is not new. It's been there from 01. It's matured over the period. NLP is there for quite some time. Neural networks have been there for quite some time. Okay, so now people want to see results quickly, and they want to eliminate the mundane jobs, right? That's more to what they want to look at AI. So now looking at scheduling an interview or bringing up a Excel sheet which is already there, and you'll have to just pull it out and give it to at a specific time. You can automate it using this one. Like, there is a machine learning thing that is going on. You feed the data, it learns by itself. So the point what they are trying to look at is how do we catch up based on the requirement. I will not say they are in a hurry to do. They've done lot of work, but still AI still has a long way to go. We are at a very preliminary stages, is what the industry experts say. When you look at AI, there's a lot to come in, Sachin. So as you rightly said, IBM had a lot of tools based on. They are still evolving, also, right? We have not closed them, right? We are still evolving them. We are seeing how the small pieces can be automated, can be given to a system where it produces data automatically and gives it back to you, right? Hope I understood to you, Sajid.
Yeah, definitely. My concern is this: when you mentioned that Gardner didn't predict the thing that it will have such a huge impact, but the kind of prediction that they are saying that AI will generate for the tech industry, right? That it will be a new shift. When you look at blockchain or you look at Bitcoin and you see the trajectory that it had and where it is now, do you feel that that is the same way that AI also might go into?
I see. Blockchain has wide varieties of utilization, right? So one we can talk about crypto. One is the other part you can look at is distributed ledger, right? So their applications and the way things are going with blockchain is different when compared to AI, right? So you those are two different pieces of technology that we are talking about here. So when you look at AI, I think it is more to be looking at how how you want to utilize and use your existing data. So the current piece is we have a lot of data. We want somebody to analyze. Looking at large data chunks, we are not able to analyze. That's where we want to somebody to look at an AI driven tool where we fed data and that gives us analysis. That's what I would feel, or I would put it that way, because AI is a machine learning algorithm where you feed data, right, based on your inputs. It learns by itself. You add more data to it and it learns by itself. That's how the AI part is coming. AI and ML together is doing that job. So there are two different pieces of points, Sajid.
Thank you for sharing your views.
Thank you, Sajid, for that question. Shalini, do you want to proceed with your question?
Yeah, Vijay, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And even before I start with my question, I also want to thank this entire crew. Listening to all these enlightened people gives us a lot more clarity into different aspects that what we have never think about it. And one question what I had is when people speak about flat organization, because I realize still in India this concept of flat organization is having different kind of perceptions and perspectives as well. My question was more like when we say the organization is flat, which is the area do you focus? Is it on the structure, roles, and responsibilities, or is it more to do with the cultural aspect of it?
Okay. Mine being a small organization, I don't really think having multiple hierarchies would make sense. So it would definitely depend on the size of the organization. Startups, when you say, you probably have a bunch of people, so a bunch of like-minded people, or people who just want to complete what they started and finish. So hierarchy may or may not make much of sense there. But as you grow, culture comes in picture, and culture is a top-down approach. Meaning, that's my view, right? So the set of people who started the organization would, in some form or shape, knowingly or unknowingly, will be defining the culture. And that's when you got to be very careful about what message you are passing to the employees, to the team, to the clients, and things like that. Um, so when you're on a growth trajectory as such, as an organization, you may or may not be in a position to stay flat. You probably have to change the structure hierarchically as well, to kind of get some reporting done, having different departments done, and so on and so forth. But at the top of it, you still want to keep tabs on every aspect, every function within the organization, be it HR, sales, marketing, delivery, support, and whatnot. Does that answer your question, Shalini?
Yes, Manjunath. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Shalini. Thank you, Manjunath, for the insights. Yes, Aniruddha, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Hello. My question is around AI, in terms of AI and the regulation to regulate AI in India. How do you, or how do you see that going? Um, and what is your view or perspective on it? Is what I would like to ask both Manjunath sir and Prince.
See, we are the doers. So we do everything sitting here in India. So India has been doing a lot of work on the AI, but the applications that we see are less compared to what we use consume in India. But most of the thing is done with the Googles and Microsoft's pieces of work that they are looking at, other big giants they are looking at AI, right? See, if you look at Google Analytics or Google side, they have a lot of research going on. It's not that they are doing it today; they've been doing it for a very long time. They've done a lot of acquisitions and on the data side, on the analysis side, and they've been looking at tools where they can have this. But the predominant work is done in India. That's what I would say, because I see a lot of people talking. But if you see, the startups are there in the race where they have small tools, like there is this virtual AI tool for interview process, which we were talking in the initial start. So there are tools that are there like that are there also being used or consumed in our Indian market. I don't have the case studies right now with me, but I can share few of them with Vijay if you want. There are use cases for AI being used at a very large scale in India as well.
Sure. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you, Aniruddha. Thank you, Prem. We have Rahavendra. Rahavendra, would you like to go with your question?
Yeah, very good evening. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. So, just I would like to add over here, so one of the business famous specialist actually, so recently one interview happened. So in that interview, actually, so people have asked actually, you are a successful businessman, and then you can you define that? No, what is that something is making you that not to sleep? Something is worried before the sleep, how can it put you and your business into trouble? So I really sorry that forgot actually the person and the company name, but the reply from the business owner, the successful business entrepreneur, told that I am worried about my car garage. So people asked actually, what does it mean? You're worried about your car garage. You are such a big entrepreneur, so successful man. Then he said that earlier world evolution or the businesses whatever we run, we always evaluate that what is the business I'm running it, what is my competition, what is the market, and what are the profits. That was the olden days of thinking. But right now the problem is going to be who is developing a new AI technology in your car garage, or somebody comes up and says that this was I bought up. So there are so many institutions and some people or some organizations are really you don't bother, but they are interested in your business. But you interested in only running that your business, your profits, your competitions, and your market. But you doesn't know that which are all the institutions and which are all the organizations or some other people who are interested in your business. You doesn't even know. That is what always scares me. That I don't know by tomorrow something comes up in my car garage. Actually, as a competition. So this is what I would like to add over here is going to be this is what something is correlating to the AI. This is what the transformation when it is happening. The industries are moving forward. The globalization, localization is happening. There are so many startups are coming up. So many new ideas are coming up. So that is going to be more related to AI, non-AI. This is going to be a trend. What is going to come every day as an update. So this, I would say that every industry has to be prepared for that. So it has its own advantages and as well as disadvantages too. But at the same time, when we are part of this kind of a transformation in this kind of a journey, we always has to be prepared for that. That's what I would like to leave a thought with the audience.
Yep. Thank you, Rahavendra. I think it's a wonderful thought. Hi, Manjunath.
Hey, hi, all. I need to say thanks to Prem, my old friend, and thanks to all speakers. I got very good insights regarding digital transformation. Nothing much to add. Yeah, thanks to all audience as well, and especially Prem.
Thank you, Manjunath.
Thank you, Manjunath. This question is to both the leaders, I would say, since we are nearing the time. The final, what final piece of advice would you give to aspiring tech leaders and entrepreneurs? So first, I'd like to go with Manjunath sir and then Prem.
Sure. Well, tech leaders, the technology landscape is so vast. I would say, you spoiled for choice. So I probably would be wrong when if I say you got to stick to one. You probably want to look at all the technologies that is out there and figure out what suits you the best to start your business. And for the business owners, I would say, I have always in my past taken the plunge first and then figure out what needs to be done. That's just me. So I would say take the plunge, and see where it takes you. I mean, if you like those kind of challenges, if you like those kind of adrenaline rush that it gives you, then you got to do it. And there are a whole lot of ecosystem out there to kind of help you, which was not there even 10, 15, 20 years back. With very little barrier to entry, especially in the tech world. Like Raghavendra was saying, somebody developing something in the car garage, you won't know what they're doing. So there's very little barrier to entry. So that is perhaps an encouragement for anybody who's enterprise enough, who's creative enough, who's daring enough to take the plunge and get started. So that's my 2 cents, Vijay.
Yes, thank you, Manjunath sir. Prem sir, would you like to add and your advice, please?
So change is here. So there are a lot of changes that we have seen taking from smartphone to smartwatches. So you will have to adapt. Things are changing on a very rapid pace. Whether if you look at mobile technology itself, we will not having to look at watches. We have forgot torch. We have forgot alarm systems and stuff, right? So those industries are gone now. There are people who still manufacture, but their utilization piece is come down. Now everything is on the phone. Like these, there are many other industries which will come, and some of the industries will not be there. So with EV coming in and stuff, our kids will not know what is combustion and other stuff also. So you will have to be ready for our people to show a combustion engine in a museum or somewhere at a very lesser stage. So change is there. You will have to adopt. You either adopt or you leave it. So that's the change that is there in the technology front or in the industry front. So change is happening, change is coming, and change is going to be there forever. So adopt accordingly. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Prem sir. Indeed, it was a great learning session and informative to all the audience and to me as well. For me, the key takeaway is innovation, collaboration, and adaptability. So, with this, like to conclude the session. Thank you, Manjunath sir and Prem, for accepting the invite and for your great time and sharing your insight and strategies with all the audience and with us. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, audience as well.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Prem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.